Hello everybody, and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. I'm exhausted. It's like 11 o'clock at night when I'm filming this, but I am filming it regardless because I want to make sure that I'm filming right after I watch something. And I just binge watched like 4 hours of this show because I couldn't stop watching it. Today, I am very excited to talk about Watchmen, Season 1. Watchmen Season 1 was released in 2019. It is currently unclear if we're going to have a Season 2. The writers have said they don't really care to do a Season 2 unless they find an intriguing story to follow, which I fully support because this story was fantastic. For those of you who don't know what Watchmen is, there was an adaptation in 2009, a film adaptation, and it was not really close to the graphic novel of the same name. And the graphic novel was apparently fantastic. I have personally never read it. My brother has read it, and he told me it's fantastic. I need to read it at some point, but time. So there's that, and this is a sequel to the graphic novel, even though even some things are not similar. But it is based off of an adaptation of the graphic novel, not the movie. So if you've seen the movie, you will be confused. Luckily, I had my brother there to help me out through some of the things. I will say, I don't think you have to read the graphic novel to understand the show. I think the show does well as a standalone. You just won't understand as much as someone who has read the graphic novel will. That being said, as someone who has not read the graphic novel, I was able to understand pretty clearly what happened using context clues, and they tell you everything that's really important. They tell you, so it's quite fantastic. So basically, what happens in Watchmen in the show is policemen have to wear masks, right? I know that's normal now, but there's no pandemic. They're just wearing masks to protect their face, to protect their identity, because they are afraid that this white supremacist group is going to go around and killing people, particularly cops right now. So they hide their identity, and they tell other people that they work for somebody else, so no one knows who the cops actually are, which is intriguing. It's an interesting concept that I think would be fun to explore more. Even though I think it's a horrifying concept, I think it's an interesting concept that I'd like to see more deeply. So they have to wear masks, and I don't want to talk about the whole story because I don't want to do too many spoilers. There will be a few spoilers, by the way, so if you haven't seen this and you want to, I wouldn't recommend watching this, but if you don't mind spoilers, proceed. I'm not going to talk about the whole story because it's long. It's 9 hours long, and these 9 hours feel very long, not because it's a long show, but because there's so much information and it's so fast-paced. But essentially, I'll go episode by episode real briefly to talk about what I thought about it. First of all, the first episode is kind of slow in terms of plot. There's not a whole lot. It's really just setting up things for later, which really the last episode sets up things to set up for the first episode. It's fantastic. Oh, it's so good. The second episode's also kind of slow. We're really just resolving with the fact that the chief of police just was hung, which is at the end of the first episode. And then we also learn we learn who the person killed him was. And then from there, it just escalates into this insane story that I can't even put it into a video. If you guys want an actual recap of the show, feel free to put it in the comments down below, and I will take the time to film a recap. This is a review, though, so I don't want to talk about the plot for too long, because I have so many actors to talk about. But if you do want an actual recap, I can start doing that. So just let me know in the comments down below if you want a recap of this or anything else I've reviewed. Please feel free to drop in the comments down below, and I will do a recap. But I'm not going to go through the plot of this one right now because it is so long, and it is very late for me. I'm going to talk about the acting, though, because I think it's more important for this show. But I'm going to talk about the directing first. First of all, the directing for this, it's unclear. I mean, there's so many writers and directors for shows, but whoever directed this show is phenomenal, and they all deserve awards. The writing for this is also insane, particularly concerning the whole Dr. Manhattan feud thing for the last 3 episodes. Unbelievable. Amazing. Loved it so much. Amazing writing. Incredible writing. Incredible directing. Some of the best CGI and special effects I've seen in my lifetime. And I do mean that. And I've seen so many CGI things, so many movies, and this just tops all of them. It's unbefreaking believable. I can't even explain it to you guys. It's It's that insane. It's that insane. So props to anyone who has worked on this series. Fantastic. Blew my mind at every second. But I'm going to talk about the acting for the majority of the rest of our time here. First of all, Regina King as Angela Abar. So she is a cop, but she pretends to be a pastry chef in the meantime. She is married to Cal, and she has 3 kids. And she is busy fighting the 7th Cavalry, who's basically the KKK. They're basically trying to stop them from being, a thing. And her character is really cool because towards the end, there's a whole Dr. Manhattan thing, which blows my mind. But she knew the whole time and didn't tell anybody. And I'm not going to talk about characters themselves for too long because, again, so much happened. But that's a brief synopsis of her character. But Regina King is phenomenal. Really, really solid. However, I don't think it was the best performance of the show, but I do think it was very solid, and I had no problems with it. Particularly in the episode where she and her grandfather are the same person for 2 episodes, which is really cool, and I really enjoyed that episode. Those 2 episodes. So, in general, the acting was phenomenal for her. I really enjoyed it. Yahya AbdulMateen II, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, plays Cal Abar, or Dr. Manhattan. Wow. First of all, he's fantastic as Cal. I really enjoyed him as Cal. He's a loving husband and a phenomenal father, and I really enjoyed watching that. But then there's Dr. Manhattan. And it's insane the amount of preciseness he can talk it with. He can talk very, very clearly and decisively, and he's funny, and he's just overall phenomenal. If you don't know anything about Dr. Manhattan, I recommend researching him because it's such a cool idea for a character. I loved it, and I loved his portrayal of it. Phenomenal. I loved it a lot. Tom Mison as Dr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips, sorry. So, there's a separate, there's a moon of Jupiter where Ozymandias is living, and he has clones, and these clones are called Mr. Phillips and Miss Crookshanks, and Tom Mison plays Mr. Phillips. So he plays multiple people who are all called Mr. Phillips. And I wasn't going to put these on here, but I thought they were really good performances, and I really, really, really enjoyed Tom Mison's performance as Mr. Phillips. Particularly because he's the one that's interacting a lot with Ozymandias in terms of getting things done, but I don't think it was as strong as the person who played Miss Crookshanks, who was Sarah Vickers, who plays Mrs. Crookshanks, was phenomenal in the show. She plays all of the Miss Crookshankses, and it's, for her, I feel like had more to do with the show, where she had to be so many separate people, particularly in the court case. There's a court case towards the end, and just being able to see her portray 30 different people at once, and they're all different too. Phenomenal, really, really great job. Jeremy Irons as Adrian Veidt, or Ozymandias. First of all, Ozymandias is a phenomenal character, and I had so much fun. Second of all, I had no idea that Jeremy Irons was somebody that I had talked about before. If you remember, when I did my Leonardo DiCaprio review for The Man in the Iron Mask, Jeremy Irons was the man who played the one guy that I liked in the film. For some reason, it's not popping to the top of my head right now, but he played the guy that is in love with the king's mom. And as I mentioned in that video, the best performance, easily 100%, goes to him. And here, I think, honestly, same deal. Best performance of the show, in my opinion, was Jeremy Irons as Adrian Veidt. He is insane. I don't want to go into his character because, again, it's too long. But if you want me to, I can in a separate video. I really enjoyed the performance, and if you watch the show only for that, good for you. It's a phenomenal performance from episode 1 to episode 9. Fantastic. Louis Gossett Jr. as Will Reeves. So he is the grandfather to Angela Abar, but they don't know it. He is also Hooded Justice, and he's 105 years old in the show. I wanted to mention him. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, but he's integral to the plot, and I really enjoyed his performance, particularly as the old man. I don't think he actually played the young Hooded Justice, but playing old is really hard, because most of the time you go the shaky old man. He plays an old man in the way an old man should be played. He's just very calm and collective, and one day he's going to die. Old people are like that. They're like, okay, I could die tomorrow, and it wouldn't make a difference. And he is so chill. I enjoyed his performance a lot. We have Jean Smart as Lori Blake, who is the FBI detective and is also one of the vigilantes. And it's not that I didn't like her performance, I just hated the character with a burning passion. But I think her performance was weaker than most others, although I thought it was funny and fun to watch. But funny is easier to portray than others, and I felt like it just came off as lazy because it was a comedic character. But I didn't hate the performance, and I didn't mind the acting at all. I enjoyed the character the best I could, given the fact that she's kind of a bitch. Tim Blake Nelson as Looking Glass. Second best performance of the show, in my opinion. Phenomenal performance. He has a really cool backstory episode. You should watch it. You should really watch this whole show. It's on HBO Max if you guys are curious. It is on HBO Max. If you have that subscription, I would recommend it. It's only 9 hours. But Tim Blake Nelson is a phenomenal actor. I really enjoyed him in this. I hope I get to see him in more because I really enjoyed the performance a lot. It's already been like 11 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up here. But if there's anything more you want me to talk about this film or this show, or if you want to message me and like talk to me about it personally, 100% will. I loved this show a lot. I'd love to talk about it more, but it's really late, and I want my videos to be not too long so you guys enjoy watching them. It doesn't take too long out of your day. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm going to give this show an A+. 100% would recommend to a friend. It's just below The Queen's Gambit, in my opinion. I think The Queen's Gambit is better than Watchmen, but not by much. That's going to do it for me tonight. This morning, I guess. It's very nighttime when I'm recording this. But as always, you know what it is. Keep watching movies and television. Stay educated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.